Joining us today is the ultimate paralegal. It's Eda Rosa, the CEO, paralegal, and founder of Eda Rosa LLC. Eda's a dear friend of Abogados Now, and she brings over 2 decades of hands-on legal experience, helping attorneys nationwide in, practice areas like foreclosure, PI, probate. She's trained thousands of legal pros nationwide. She's got an amazing podcast and book. It's called Let's Talk Paralegal, and she's on a mission to elevate the legal industry. Her expertise spans foreclosure, injury law, family law, business law, more. We're going to get into her courses. We're going to get into her media. I mean, she's everywhere. And if you want to know what your paralegals are thinking, she's on the front lines every day. So, welcome to the program, Etta.
Thank you. Wow, I love the introduction.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Moving like a pro here.
very well deserved. So, in a nutshell, give the elevator pitch to attorneys who aren't familiar with your work. Like, how do you help them out?
We basically work with the actual what we call the dream team, right? We work with your dream builders, the people that are in there rubbing, rolling up their sleeves and getting into the grunt work day in and day out. The people that know your clients the most, and that can be anywhere from your front desk, assistant to your legal assistants to your paralegals to up to your C suites because sometimes the C suite has to get in there as well. All hands on deck, especially when it comes to trial. So when it comes to your team and building that dream, we all know that lawyers are most likely not trained to run the business side of law firms. So we're here to help you create processes and operations, but also in implementing that, we want to make sure that your team is ready for it.
Cool. So, I mean, in the context of AI, since that's what today's topic is about, it's implementing AI tools today. Like that's a big promise, right? Let's talk about like what is actually working. There's so much hype on AI tools, on agents, on automations. Like, tell us, you're in the front lines, you're in the trenches with paralegals, with attorneys. What are the tools that are actually working today? And if you can give us like an example of how so.
Oh, absolutely. So, there's a lot, like you were saying, there's a lot of hype about AI. And we literally I literally had to create this intake form for my team to weed out the people that I want to be on our podcast or want to collaborate with us. They're all trying to create AI tools for law firms and the legal industry. And that's great. Kudos to you. But not every AI is built the same, right? So the more I play with AI tools, the more I see yay or nay, is this good? And in addition to that, like I can give you a list, which I will. I'll provide you my top five, or I'll do three because five is excessive. But I'll do our top three, the ones that we actually work with and implement and process and are super familiar with, and we see results. I will give that to you. But before I do that, I want to let you know that it's not a one size fits all. It really is dependent on how your law firm is working, how many people are working in your law firm, and what their positions are. So, yes, this is going to be amazing list, and I love everything about them. But you really have to analyze if it's going to be a good fit for you. I'm a firm believer if it has a free trial, try it out because I never want to buy a tool that is just a waste of my time or does not give me the return on investment that I thought it would. So, if they offer a free trial, go for it. There's no harm done. And you get to keep all your content and all your privacy and confidentiality information. LexisNexis is our top three tools that we love to use. It's LexisNexis and AI, which is a plus sign. Then there's LexisNexis Protege, which is just Protege, but it is a adaptation to LexisNexis. And then my favorite one actually is Lexis Create because it actually gives you that conversation that you're used to, like a chat GPT or a Claude or something like that, but it's already embedded in your LexisNexis. No hard feelings, Westlaw. We love you. I'm not saying that we don't, but LexisNexis has a way better, more robust products for those litigating attorneys that are looking for an all for one AI that will help you with research and shepherdizing and analyzing and summarizing and providing the opposing parties, an opposition argument or anything that you're looking for that is all in one. LexisNexis has all three. Westlaw is not quite there yet with their technology. So we always like to show that to our heavy litigating lawyers. Now, if you're not quite there yet, you're a personal injury, you have a few family law disputes and you want to see and everything else, then I would suggest what's called Harvey.ai, which if you're used to ChatGPT, then that's great because OpenAI was actually created as specifically for lawyers. So if you're used to the whole conversational thing with ChatGPT, try out Harvey.ai. It is an amazing, lower cost, obviously, than LexisNexis, and it does what you need it to do in order to get to where you're at. So again, it really depends. There's no set tool for every single law firm out there, but definitely do your research. Definitely read about it, and again, hit up that free trial if you can, and try it out and see if it works.
Fantastic. So, I am curious, like, let's talk price points and then like use cases. So, let's talk Lexus, a very common use case. With Harvey, similarly, what's the price point? What is the use case on a day to day?
Oh, day to day. Okay, so Harvey.ai you can do daily if you want. Like if you can do a per use if you want. Just like ChatGPT, they have the monthly, or if you want to have like additional information, you pay for it. So that one's gonna be a lower cost. It really just depends on where you're at. And so it's a lot lower. We're talking about maybe 20, $50 depending on what you're looking for. LexisNexis is actually included in your membership. So that's very dependent on what you're paying and what level of LexisNexis you have. So honestly, I don't have a short answer for that. It just depends if you're under a corporate law firm, if you're in the pro, advanced, or lower level. So it could be thousands or it could be hundreds.
Right. It's all depending on the usage and your subscription. Now, what have you found in the implementation of these tools? Has it been in the aim of headcount replacement or enablement enhancement of existing headcount?
And great question. I get this asked a lot, especially with my paralegals that we're coaching and training. They're like, oh my goodness, am I going to be replaced by this? And the honest answer is yes and no. So it depends on you. Right now, we're training paralegals not just to litigate files and be the partner that the lawyers need, but we need them to be a little more than just taskers. Because for that, we have AI and we have legal tech tools. So if you're that person that just likes to check off things off their list and just do what is like, here, this is what I need you to do, and you're not that divergent thinker, and you're not thinking outside of the box, and you're not programming, and you're not doing all the things, and you're not the above and beyond or outside the box thinker,
Yeah.
then you're gonna get lost in translation, and yes, you will be replaced like that in 2 seconds with the AI tool. Now, if you're more of, "Let me get this work done, let me see what's happening next, the attorney likes it this way, let me create something that's gonna work, let me create templates, let me create processes and development and do all the things," then you have a sure job because lawyers don't have time for that, and AI can only take you so far. So I always say the answer is really depends. It's either yes or no, and it really depends on you. So that's why I guess our business started growing a lot within this year because lawyers are understanding that their paralegals are going to have to work a little different and think a little different. And it all has to start with a mindset shift.
Interesting. So let's talk about that. What does the org chart still look like today? For let's call it the paralegal dream team, as you call it, and then what does it look like? Let's call it 2, 3 years down the road because this stuff is happening super fast.
Yes. So I will dare I say, I will say that we were going to be more like a lot of people may not be familiar with the African law firms. So the law firms in Africa, they are run solely by lawyers and they have maybe one or two what we would call paralegals, right?
Mm,
They don't call them that, they call them law firm assistants.
mm.
So they run multi-billion dollar transactions and litigation with only 2 to 3 lawyers and maybe 1 or 2 assistants. And that's really what efficiency is all about, right? So it's efficiency to the nth degree. But again, you have to be that worker, right? So we're no longer going to have those very departmentalized law firms where there's one department just on hearings, one department just in litigation or discovery or very niche specific departments. That's no longer going to be a thing anymore because AI can get you halfway there. So, the future, and like you said, 2 to 3 years from now, what that's going to look like, that's going to be more about, okay, who are my top workers who can get the job done and who can do it faster, efficient, high quality, and you staying and everybody else is out. And unfortunately, that's just how it goes. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was the next level, what you were saying about the future, other than reducing the staff, is also increasing the quality, right? So that looks like we're no longer going to have the full time paralegal with the 401ks and the retirement plan and the PTO. It's going to be more independent contractors, project based. We have a big project coming on. We need more hands on deck. That's really what the future is going to look like when it comes to litigation. Eventually, if it continues this way with agentic AI and the predictability and the accuracy, because the accuracy is actually increasing, not decreasing. We're at right now, ChatGPT, just at its basic line, is at an 80% accuracy when it comes to legal and analytics. So eventually, there's going to be a lot more push on people basically representing themselves, which is going to be tough. Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but, I don't see that happening quite yet. You know what I mean? Like, we're not quite there yet. There's a lot more, forward, testing and things that we have to work on, and I'm not here to scare lawyers. There's always gonna be room for those very minute, very litigating analytics, which is really what lawyers are for. They're there to analyze and do the things. The basic stuff like a traffic ticket or a non-disputable divorce, like there's no assets, there's no children. Like, why are we getting lawyers involved if everybody's agreeing to everything? So, like I think our country as a whole and our legal system has overutilized the importance of lawyers and they're realizing it. Now they have tools, now there's forms that they can fill out and understand. So, the use of lawyers is going to most likely be reduced by a good maybe 40 to 50% of how we use it now.
Yeah, well, we're seeing it with, companies like HelloDivorce.com. They're productifying, if you will, simple divorces, but they're also using it as like a marketing funnel to channel, those cases into actual leads that go directly to attorneys for more complex cases. So yeah, we see the consolidation there for sure. And it sounds like the headcount consolidation in an office is like very real. But let's talk about the hype that you've seen that we've all heard as well, that hasn't come to fruition. For instance, I think in the last 6 months, we've heard a lot about agentifying a lot of middle management roles, and that's in every department, not just in, with legal assistance or intake or even marketing. I find that that's fallen flat because you need really good engineers. What other areas of AI hype have you heard of, seen propped up, but actually ultimately we find ourselves not ready yet?
Customer service. So those little AI agents, right? Those little avatars that they're so cute. They're adorable. Honestly, I thought they were little cartoons or something, that my children can watch on their like pastime. And so we're realizing that when lawyers do use these AI agents, they're not as efficient because people don't want to talk to machines. They want to talk to the person that's actually working on their case or that's going to if they're a potential client. They're actually asking and yearning for that personability. Like before, you would just stroll up at a law firm, knock on their door, get to sit down with one of the representatives of the firm and while the lawyer's at the trial or mediation or wherever they're going. So very dependent, and a lot of people are realizing that that personability, the customer service is so important right now. It's the only thing that's setting your law firm aside from every other law firm around you that does similar or provides similar services. The only thing that's going to actually set you aside. I call this the barbershop or the nail salon effect, right? Why do you continuously go to the same barbershop or nail salon? It's not because of the products, because you can probably get the same product somewhere else, maybe closer, maybe at a cheaper price. Who knows? It's the customer service, it's the ambiance, it's oh, I get to do a facial and like my husband, he's like obsessed. He gets the facial with the cut, and then he puts like some cream on and whatever, and it's the experience. Every time he goes there, he gets the same experience. He gets welcomed. He gets treated like what he deserves, right? What he's paying for. And that same customer service framework is what every law firm should be doing. Clio actually, in their 2024 legal trends, did a survey and said about 80% of law firms fail to take on potential clients because they didn't answer a call.
So,
That says something.
yeah.
This says something.
Do you think that's, like, the area that's gonna be untouched or unfazed by yeah. Uh,
I mean, no robot today, because I've looked at the Tesla robots and I've looked up all the robots. No robots have been able to effectively replicate or mimic what we call empathy or emotional intelligence.
yeah, yeah, great point. Yeah, I think that's so true. We even hear that even a step above, it's automated AI intake. It's just not there because you have to hear what are oftentimes tragic stories and at the same time collect data. And if you do that with a robot, it can go south very quickly. Yeah, no, that's fascinating. So let's talk about like the firms that you work with. Like what percentage of them are like your solos, then your mid-sized firms and your more enterprise firms, if you could break it down for us.
Yeah, so I we don't really work with solos just because they don't really have a team. So, like, we work with the team, right? But we do refer out. We have a whole freelance paralegal kind of network that we kind of like what you were talking about, Hello Divorce. Like, okay, we're kind of like that Hello Divorce for consulting. If you don't have a team to work with or like train, then obviously we're not your consulting firm. We're here to work with the entirety of the law firm, not just the administration. And we also have a consultant that we work with quite often, actually, that they work on the C suites and above, and the management and the mergers and acquisitions. They work on that while we work on the people, right? The people that work and really run the firm day to day. And we've done numerous projects with them. Has worked out great. So we do have a network of people. Our ideal client obviously would be anywhere from 5 employees or up. So that's supposedly considered mid to large. And it depends really on the amount of cases that they're handling, the type of cases that they're handling. Right now, we're looking at expanding our services to criminal and immigration because we know there is a lot of need there, especially now in the current narrative that's happening here in the States. And so we are looking on onboarding other consultants that are super niched in those two things because we understand there's a need for it. And we're kind of like the only ones that really solely focus on the team. I haven't found another consulting firm that works on the people that actually work for the firm.
That's awesome. So what are the most common challenges that the attorneys at these firms come to you with? Like what are they trying to solve for most of the time?
Yeah. So most of the time they're stressed out. They've lost control of their team. They most of the time have processes in place, but the team is not implementing that. And so they're trying to see how can I get the team to buy in? And when I do get them to buy in, how do I get every single person to use it exactly the same way? Right? Because it's hard, right? A lot of people create their own little mini processes and whatever works for them and however it is for them. And then all of a sudden that person leaves on PTO or leaves for good or transitions to another position or whatever the case may be. And now nobody knows what is going on right now because they didn't follow the procedures or the processes. So getting that buy-in from the team, getting them to actually do what they're supposed to be doing in the way that the law firm wants them to do it, not the way that they think the law firm wants them to do it. Oftentimes it's just a lack of communication between management and the team, so we're there to buffer that out, to really have a team building exercise with them and teach them, hey guys, this is the proper way from here on out. This is how we're going to do things. This is why, because that's another thing. A lot of lawyers just come in and say, this is it, we bought this new software. This is what we're going to do. And it's like, okay, but like, where did this come from? Like, did we have a conversation about this? I had better ideas and they don't really talk to their team. And they're the ones that have the most information. So, we're that person that kind of like gives them that come to Jesus moment on both sides, and so we help them that a lot. I think that's like half the battle, and then from there, we can do all the things, right? We can upskill if we see a potential legal assistant for litigating paralegal or a pre-lit para to a lit para or managerial position, we upskill their staff so that they don't have to start looking for anybody else. They know this worker, they know they're capable, the person is willing and ready to do the thing that they want them to do, so why not just train them up? And keep them and, just cultivate that relationship knowing that they're a good team player. So,
That's amazing. I mean, it sounds like these engagements can be pretty complex. It can be fairly long term, right? But you've also provided like a self-service like a course. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know that's been super popular. I've been hearing about it through many circles this year. So please expand on that.
yeah, so we found a need where we wanted to train paralegals, but sometimes the lawyers didn't have the budget, the time, or the resources to onboard us for consulting because we're not cheap. I am perfectly aware of that. That's how I pay my bills. But aside from that, we said, okay, let's create a more affordable option that kind of gives them a little bit of everything, right? We'll train their paralegal in the generalities and the customer service and the attorney partnership and the things that and the skills that we know that do not get, you know, often reviewed or learned in a traditional educational system. I have 5 degrees under my belt. Nothing that's in the Limitless Academy is in an educational program. And we did that on purpose because attorneys don't have time to train their staff on how to properly provide customer service, how to give them that emotional intelligence, soft skills, empathetic moment where it's not so long, right? How to manage that time where you're not on the phone with that one client that's grieving or going through something for hours on end and they're not being productive because they're stuck on the phone with this client. So how to find that balance is called and that's one of our courses. It's called Customer Excellence. And that's really how to help the paralegal or the legal assistant or whomever is offering any type of customer service. Even our C suites, right? Because sometimes when you become a CEO, COO, CGO, C whatever, um, they don't get properly trained on how to manage a team. They were part of the team and now they're managing the team. So that is a conflictive relationship right there. Like who once you were able to eat lunch with and, go out and do the things, now you're managing them. So how do you navigate through those intricacies? We talk about the unspoken, the untrained in our academy and our customer excellence is probably the top seller because it is so important because of the reasons we just went over, you know what I mean?
So how does someone sign up? Like, where does someone sign up for the courses? What does it cost?
Yeah, so we kept it super affordable. It's $1,000 a course. It comes with everything you need. It comes with a workbook, a guidebook, an outline, a roadmap, obviously the course itself, and it gives you access to the actual instructor. So even though it's an on-demand course where you actually review the course as a video, you still have access to the instructor through our academy where you can message them, set up a time with them, and have that one-on-one that is most likely needed because maybe you have a specific, more tailored approach and you want to powwow that out with the instructor.
Fascinating. That's amazing. And so where can they sign up?
We have a website. It's called the Limitless Paralegal Academy.com. And you can just go on there, log in. You can pick and choose what you want. You don't have to sign up for all the courses. You can literally just sign up for the one course that you want.
Awesome. And if anyone wants to talk to you specifically, what's the best email to reach you?
It would be my name, Eda Rosa, with a little dot in the middle, law, Law, and then I'll keep it simple. I won't give you the other one at gmail.com.
Amazing. Easy. Super easy. This has been fascinating. We'd love to chat with you about other topics relating day-to-day paralegal work, how to scale firms, how to build better teams. I'm glad we got a little slice of your expertise in AI today. Thank you so much, and thanks to the team for producing another great interview today. And we'll be in touch for the next one. So, Ed, any final words for everyone listening and watching?
Of course. Invest in your team. Your team is your best marketing and best profit, I guess, revenue that you can possibly actually invest in.
Amazing. Eda, thank you so much. And to everyone else, we'll see you at the next one.